I was wrong. I always thought that I could get rich doing what I was doing, following the path that people recommended. You go to school, you get good grades, you go to college, you get a nice paying job, you save money, buy a house, start a family, and then continue saving money and retire in your late 60s, sometimes even 70s. Then you enjoy retirement until you die. So I listened. I did it all until I had a baby. Then nothing made sense. Why on earth would anybody want to live a miserable life, working full time, saving money, living extra frugally, not even getting to see their kid grow up because you're working all the time, only to enjoy a life when you're old and decrepit? It makes zero sense. So I want to get rich. Problem is, I don't know any other path than the one that I mentioned until I stumbled upon a book called The Millionaire Fastlane. Does it sound scammy? Yes, because I bought it years and years and years ago and I never actually opened it until this year. The Millionaire Fastlane compares getting wealthy to driving. There are 3 lanes in life: the sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. The sidewalk is where the majority of people are, and it's where you might be making a lot of money, but you're also spending all of your money. The sidewalk is the path of instant gratification and poverty. And then there is the slow lane, which is the most recommended path, where you get a job, save money, and retire eventually. And there's the fast lane, which is getting rich quick. Despite how scammy the title sounds, the book actually offers very valuable insight on how to get rich in your 20s and 30s instead of waiting all the way until your 60s. So you want to be on the fast lane. I want to be in the fast lane. However, it's not that simple. Getting wealthy is a process. It's not a one-time event. You don't just sign up for an application. You don't just put something into the internet or put something into, I don't know, a file form folder and boom, you're rich. It doesn't work like that. You don't invest in one stock and get rich. Maybe some people can. Getting wealthy is a process. It's a series of thousands of decisions that you have to make to move yourself into the fast lane. You can't just do one thing and suddenly be rich. So if you're on the sidewalk, you need to get to the fast lane. Start delaying gratification, start saving up money, building up some runway so that you have a savings, you have an emergency fund if you suddenly face a bad event, such as a layoff. On the sidewalk, one layoff can bankrupt you. If you're in the slow lane, next step is to move to the fast lane. Saving money and investing it into the S&P 500 for the entirety of your work life just isn't enough. You have no control over what these other companies are doing, what the stock market is doing. Maybe you save up all this money and the day that you retire, stock market crashes. And that was not in your control. You had nothing to do with that. And that's why the premise of the FIRE movement that actually got me and my husband started saving money and putting money into the S&P 500. There are flaws in it, and this is one of them. It's that it's not in your control. If you want to retire when you're 35, the timing might not be right. The market might be down. It's just out of your hands, and it can be unlucky. Take control of your financial plan and be the one responsible for it, not anybody else. So this is how I plan on using the concepts in this book to become a millionaire in my 30s. Right now, I am 29, so I have 10 years ahead of me to get rich. I've been in the slow lane for a while, so it's time to get to the fast lane. Number 1 is redesign my definition of wealth. Wealth is not the big house or the fast car or the fancy clothes. Wealth is not status. Wealth is family, health, and freedom. Money buys you the freedom to watch your kids grow. Money buys you the freedom to spend time exercising, to go on vacation, to travel places. Money buys you freedom to just do whatever you want, basically, if it's ethical and moral. 2, delay gratification whenever possible. Stop buying things just because I want to. I've made a lot of progress this year on not buying things for me personally, and that's allowed us to save like thousands of dollars, which is really nice. So I'm going to continue saving without raising our expenses or doing lifestyle inflation, it's really hard to not lifestyle inflate. You have to be very intentional and very mindful of tracking expenses and seeing where they're going rather than just letting it slip and you start spending a little bit here and a little bit there and suddenly all the money's gone. 3 is execute with speed. To drive in the fast lane, you need speed. And speed is the ability to execute once you have an idea. Even if the idea is not the perfect idea, if you execute on it very fast, you'll learn very fast that the idea didn't work. Instead of spending months or years working on an idea that didn't work, spend 2 to 3 months working on an idea that didn't work, scrap it, move on to the next one, or iterate on it and make it better. Number 4, learn from mistakes and failures, be accountable, and be responsible for the mistakes that I made. We've made a lot of mistakes. Next one, be patient. It takes 6 to 8 years to get wealthy because wealth is a process, not an event. I could post videos for 6 to 8 years. That is a long time to dedicate to one thing, but I am committing to doing this. Number 6 is create more than I consume. The law of affection states that the more lives that you affect in an entity that you control, aka your business, in scale and or magnitude, the richer you will become. To make millions, you need to affect millions in a positive way. Provide value, and if you don't affect millions, then the price, aka the magnitude, must go up to compensate for the lack in scale. And the next, what number was I on? And 7 is to use the sense framework for my business. This is where switch and click went wrong. Sense says that it's not enough just to have a business. You need to have a fast lane business. Some businesses just become your own job, except you're more stressed out because you take over all the responsibility and it's stressful. So sense stands for control, entry, need, and time scale. Control says that you need to be in control of every aspect of your business. If you're an affiliate for someone else, you're just hitchhiking on their car. It is not your car. They can change the rules at any time. That's it. Your income might be slashed in half. So you want a business where you can control how much money you're making. Entry says that the higher the barrier of entry it is, the better. Otherwise, you need to be exceptional to stand out. For something like YouTube, there is a very low barrier of entry, in my opinion. You could start with very little equipment. You could start for free. You go online and you do it. The actual process to doing YouTube is a much higher barrier of entry because it involves showing up, slowly improving over time, being sustainable and being sane during the entire time, and just moving onwards and improving and improving and improving slowly, yet still showing up despite seeing everyone else do their own thing. It's really hard to stick to your own plan and really easy to jump from thing to thing to thing. It's a hard process. YouTube is a very hard process, so it is very high barrier of entry despite also being a low barrier of entry. Next is need. Need to add value or else it doesn't work. People need to have what you're selling essentially, or else it's just like an extra topping on top of the ice cream. Next is time. It needs to work when you're sleeping, when you're on vacation, or it'll be a job. So 1 is automate, 2 is hire. YouTube is great at this because essentially the me that exists in these videos is being multiplied across each individual video. I only need to record this one time, but it's possible for the video to get so many more views than that. And last is scale. You need leverage. And there's 4 forms of leverage. There is code, people, money, content, using content. So I plan on building a personal brand through YouTube by sharing the ideas that I learned while solving my life problems, like building habits, self-improvement, productivity, getting fit, dealing with anxiety and procrastination, and then expanding that to eventually create useful tools or products to help others do the same. Right now, it's definitely in its infancy. It's very early stages. I've made 8 videos. I'm slowly making the decisions to move to the fast lane. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of decisions more to go. So I'll see you in the fast lane.